My life is so good on paper. So why am I so miserable? This is a question that I know many of us are facing, and it's maybe why you found this video. It's a question I get all the time now because I've revealed that I've walked through that same issue myself. It was winter 2009, and I was walking across the Stone Arch Bridge in Minneapolis, lunch hour after lunch hour, trying to figure out why I was so miserable. It didn't make any sense to me. My life on paper was so good. I was working for a Fortune 500 company. I'd just been promoted. My marriage was great. My 3 kids were healthy. Everything on paper was great. But inside, I was so miserable. And I couldn't figure out what was driving that. Those days on the Stone Arch Bridge sent me on a journey to try to figure out what was going on there. Why did I feel so miserable? Why did I feel so lonely in it? Why did I feel so guilty about feeling miserable? Why did I not want to share that with anybody? What was actually going on? And as I have uncovered some realities of this and what caused it in my life, I've realized that this is the cause for many other people as well, and that many of you are out there struggling with the same question. My life on paper is so good. Why am I so miserable inside? I call this the good life trap. We are living a good life, but we're kind of trapped in it. And what we really want is outside of our good life, but now we're trapped in it. We've built this good life, and now we've locked ourselves in. And happiness, we think, is just outside of that cage, just outside of the trap, but it's no longer accessible to us. And this starts early on in our life. It starts by receiving the defaults from our family, our friends, our community on what it is, how we're supposed to live, what we're supposed to think, what we're supposed to believe. And these are the defaults that we receive, and we don't know any better. So we think, oh, that is what I'm supposed to believe. That is what I'm supposed to think. And so that is how the world is supposed to work. And anybody that's doing it differently, we hear those around us telling us that they're idiots. And so we think they're idiots and they're living life the wrong way. And so we grow up with this default sort of idea of what we should think and how we should act and what we should believe. And this is the start of the good life trap, because what happens is we see that and we see that that is the right way to live. That is the right posture toward life. That is the right belief set, the right construct for thinking. And so we think that is the right way to live. And without knowing any better, we assume that that is what the result is. It results in a good life. So if we live the right way, we have a good life. And so for us, the good life is living the right life, which means we make decisions that are in alignment with the default constructs that we've received for how to think and what to believe and how to act. So we start building up this steel cage, panel by panel, with every decision that we make, which is aligned to the right decision based on the right way to live that we've inherited through the defaults. And so we start building this life. If our construct is that you should go to college, we go to college. If it's that you shouldn't go to college, but you should go to trade school, we go to trade school. If it's that you shouldn't go to any school, but start your own business, we start our own business. We start making these decisions based on what we should do because of what is right, because of what we inherited. And so we build these panels and we make these right decisions. And it's well-motivated people that are telling us what we should do. And we have the right motives because we want to live the right life. And so we vote a certain way. We have certain perspectives on religion. We have certain perspectives on guns and hunting. We have certain perspectives on sports, all of these things that we start building panel by panel because it's what we should do, because it's the right way to do. And as we get older, those decisions become more important. We get married, we have kids, we take a certain job, we live in a certain place, we go to a certain local hangout. We do all of these things because that's what we should do. That's the right way to live. And so we're building, and little by little, we're building this big cage because what we want to do is we want to live the good life. And we see that good life is right there next to us. It's the right life. And so we want to make all the right decisions and sort of enclose ourselves with the good life, with the right life. We want to build our world around that so that we are living with and in that good life and with the other people that we need to have to live that good life. So we're trying to surround ourselves and insulate us so that we have that good life. But what happens is as we get older, as we keep building that trap, we start noticing things outside of our default belief system. Maybe we meet people at college. Maybe it's in our workplace. Maybe it's online. Maybe it's videos. Maybe it's news channels. We don't know. We start seeing things differently. Now, some of us, we don't really listen to that. we just kind of stay in our good life, and that's perfectly fine. But some of us are going, maybe that is the right way to live. Maybe that's another way to look at this. Maybe what I was believing isn't right. So we kind of notice and we start saying that maybe what I really want is out there. Maybe what I really want is out there. And some of us have the courage to really dig into that and find out if that's true and start moving ourselves out of our trap, start deconstructing our trap and building a new trap over there where the good life is for what we really want, what we really authentically want. But most of us, we don't. We just notice. We just think maybe that's possible, that is what I really want. Maybe I really want to sing karaoke, but boy, the way that I was raised, you're not supposed to sing and dance or whatever it is. And so we notice it, and it causes a little bit of discomfort because we think maybe I'm not quite living how I want to live, but we don't do anything about it. We don't take courageous action. So we just keep building panel by panel. We build this cage around us and this life that we inherited that we think is the good life, and it's just the right life based on how we are raised. And so we keep building, and that discomfort sort of increases as we realize that maybe this isn't really the life that I want. Maybe what I really want is out there, but we don't take action. We stay in our cage, and then at some point that cage is completed. We put on the last panel, we make the last decision, we make the right choice, and that panel is fully enclosed. Now, we could still get out if we were courageous, if we kicked off that panel, if we tore it down and we said, I'm going to go live the good life. But a lot of times we don't, because by the time we realize that, by the time we really want that, by the time who we really are and what we really want is fully formed, we've locked ourselves into this trap. We've built this trap fully around us. And now we have this mindset that says, it's too late. I've made my choices. I've made my lot in life. I have some regrets. I wish I would have done things differently. I wish I would have built my trap over there, my cage over there. I wish I would have surrounded myself with those kinds of people, but it's too late. And so this mindset that we have now that it's too late, that becomes the lock on the cage. We've built the cage, and now with our mindset, we've locked it in. And now it becomes more and more painful. The more we think, we look out through the bars of the cage and we see the good life happening over there. We think the life that we actually want is over there. And we're stuck in here. Now we've locked it in with our mindset. And it becomes more and more and more painful. And I believe that is what happened to me on the Stone Arch Bridge. Year after year would go by, and I would continue to make the right decisions, working in the Fortune 500 companies, being an actuary, studying math, getting married, having kids, being in the right relationships, going to church, all of these things. I was doing the right thing, and I was trying really, 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 really hard to build the life that I was supposed to build, that other people expected me to have, that I wanted based on how I was brought up. But all the while I was noticing, here's the life that's happening over there. That seemed like the life that I really want. And you know what? My mindset was, if I had it to do over, I would do it differently. But it's too late. I'm 39, I'm 40 years old. And that continued. I continued locked in that cage for another 8 years. Another 8 years looking out through the bars, wishing I had that kind of a life. Until finally, a few years ago, I snapped off the lock. I changed my mindset. I said, it is not too late. I can have the kind of life that I really want, but I've got to change my mindset first. First, I've got to get rid of the lock. I got to take the bolt cutters out and get rid of that lock and change my mindset to say, it is not too late. I can have the kind of life that I want. And it's okay that it's not lined up with the kind of life that other people expect of me. It's not lined up with the default life that I inherited. It's okay. I'm going to give myself permission to live the kind of life that I want to live. That had to happen first. And once I did that, now I can start disassembling this cage that I built. I can start taking down the panels of right decisions and replace those with unright decisions. Those decisions that fly in the face of what I should do, fly in the face of expectations, fly in the face of who I was raised to be, so that I could rebuild my life around the good life that was true and authentic to who I was and what I really wanted out of life. And that's where the freedom comes. And then it's a struggle to stay free, to not get sucked back into that life. Now, that doesn't mean you have to make major life decisions. That doesn't mean you have to quit your job or get divorced or get married or have kids or get rid of your kids or any of those sorts of things. You don't have to be major life decisions. A lot of people are finding much more life. They're finding much more joy. They're finding much more happiness just from minor changes. So you don't need to think about this as some major thing. For some people, it might be, but there might be some minor tweaks. But I'm going to tell you, it starts with understanding that a lot of us are living lives that we inherited by default under the oppressive rule of expectations, of shoulds. We should do this, I should do this, you should do this, we should on ourselves all the time. We're under that oppressive sort of expectation piece, what society even expects of us, what social media expects of us or tells us what the good life is. And I'm here to tell you, if you want to be happier, if you want to live a more robust life that's more authentically who you are, more aligned with your personality and your desires and what you want, it starts with changing your mindset, first of all, that says it's not too late. Changing your mindset that says, I can live the kind of life that I want. I have the agency, I have the capability to make unright decisions in my life, and then to go after it, to be courageous and make those decisions. That's where it starts. And if you can surround yourself with people who are going to encourage you on that journey versus limit you on that journey, that's going to make it a much easier thing. So that is the good life trap. And it starts with the question, why am I so miserable in the midst of my good life, my life that looks great on paper? Why am I so miserable? I believe the reason is because we actually build our life, build our actual life in alignment with what we should want, what the default is, what the right life is. We build it that way instead of around understanding and making decisions that are in alignment with who we really are and what we really want. And then we have this big dissonance. We are in this cage that we built ourselves intentionally. We lock it in with our mindset, and then we're looking through the bars over there at the life that we actually want. That's why you're miserable in the midst of a good life. And it's going to take some work. It's going to take some intentionality, but you can cut that lock. You can start to remove the panels. You can start to have more of the life that's congruent with who you are today. You don't have to stay in the place that you are, and it doesn't necessarily mean a major change. But recognizing that that is where it comes from is going to be a great first step to helping you live that life that you really want. My name is Steve Fredlund, and if you want to connect with me, please do so. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check out my website, stevefredlund.com. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Put a comment out here. I engage, man. I want to have this be a conversation. I want it to be a community. We're all in this thing together, trying to figure it out. So let's connect and let's figure out how we can help each other be less miserable in the midst of our good life.